My name is Frank, and they've named a school after me. A music school. What we do is we train people in music, regardless of their level of experience. And we do this through group classes because people learn from each other as well as they do from teachers. And our philosophy is the teachers become the student and the students become the teachers.
We teach music, a lot of old-time folk music, old-time, Irish, bluegrass, but we're really about building community, using the music to build the community. So I'm Mara Nicholson, and I am the executive director here at the Frank Hamilton School. So Frank Hamilton School started in 2015. We're actually in October celebrating 10 years.
It was years and years ago. I've had many years teaching music. And we started here in Atlanta. I got with a friend of mine by the name of Bob Bakert, who had a lot of business experience, and the two of us put the school together. He made all the meetings. We developed our 501c3, the nonprofit, and we went through various places. We were at the Oakhurst Baptist Church preceding this, and the Eckworth Methodist Church preceding that. And we wound up here in Legacy Park.
During the pandemic, we actually made it during the pandemic. We were all online classes. Before the pandemic, we averaged about 85 students a term, which is 8 weeks. And after the pandemic, little by little, people started coming back. And the fact that we were able to move into Legacy Park really let us have our own space. We were renting from a church before, which was wonderful because they let us use the, in the evening, we would use the classrooms they weren't using. Here, we're able to use it 24/7. So we have our own library. We have classrooms that we make coffee. So the school, now we average about 150, 165. So we basically have doubled in 4 years, which is wonderful. And it's all word of mouth. It's all, we do have social media, Facebook, Instagram, that type of thing. But most of it is somebody, like how I got it. Somebody told me about it. And I'm like, oh, I got to give it a try.
We have blues sessions. We have bluegrass sessions. We have old-time music sessions. And one of the things we're going to start doing is have what we call a swing-along, because I've been teaching basic swing guitar. And we're going to have people come in with various instruments, have a little jazz jam session, mainly for people who have not really done much of it before, but have always wanted to. We'll have song circles, and we're going to institute eventually a drum circle too, where all the percussionists get together and play music. So we have a lot of events going, and we welcome everyone to all of them. The atmosphere is fantastic. People they shed their egos, they become real people and concerned people, and the people down here are just fantastic folks. They are intuitive, but they're also the word I'm looking for is, well, compassionate, but there's another word too, responsive, very responsive people. And so it's true in our conversations as well as in our music. They listen to one another, which is extremely important. And nobody has to shine or take over. People are willing to let those that want to come forward and take over do that, or those that don't, sit back and enjoy and participate in whatever way they can. I hope that's clear.
If you walk through the building, everything that's in the building, 99% of it was donated by people who believe in what we're doing. So everything around you, you see around you in this library, somebody's brought in because they value what we're doing. And they say, here, I don't need this anymore, but I'm sure somebody else can. And so the instruments you see, that's all donated. It's really touching to know that other people believe in what's going on here, enough to give their personal belongings and their time. We've got people that come in and spend their time here to help us with our mission of just providing a place for an outlet for learning music and playing music.
It's much better than a country club. It's a real strong social circle. And so all of us are working on our skills and getting better, but we're also having a lot of fun together. And so that really makes it work.
My mother was a piano teacher, and I was a rebel. And she taught classical music, and I tried to do it, but I couldn't do it. So I decided I'm going to be rebellious and become a folk musician. And so I decided at the age after high school, I packed my guitar and my toothbrush and my pajamas in the case, and I hitchhiked out on the road, Highway 66 for New York City. And along the ways, I had interesting experiences. My feeling is I learned probably by getting around people who played this kind of music. And I had some formal training in Chicago and in Los Angeles too. I've had music all of my life. Now, I'm kind of a lazy musician. I like to have fun with music. So I never like to be serious, you know. Classical musicians are so serious. And I just enjoy having a good time. And I enjoy sharing people with others, showing music with others, and sharing what I know about music with other people. When you're trained in an academy or in a classical music, it's very rigid. You have to do things a certain way. And if you go into, say, composing, they always tell you in advance, you'll never be a Bach or a Beethoven or a Brahms, you know. So what you can do with a degree in music is teach, which is only part of the picture. Because to be a musician, I think you have to play and be a part of the music.
Classically trained is you learn from a sheet of paper and you know the formal music, you can read music. Here it is learning to play by ear, so it's more of an oral tradition where somebody plays you a phrase and then you play it back to them. So you're learning really knee to knee with somebody. The reason I wanted to start attending the Frank Hamilton School was I wanted to learn to play an instrument by ear. I've been formally trained, so I can read music, but I wanted to get better at playing by ear. So the first class I signed up for was old-time fiddle tunes. So all instruments were welcome, so that was the beginning of my journey here.
Everybody has a different style of teaching, but the main idea is not just to get the music out, to make people comfortable with playing, whether it's in a group or whether you want to play, whether you're learning just how to play the fiddle and you're with all fiddles, or if you're learning how to play in a jam and you're also playing with guitars and mandolins and banjos, how to make that blend. So the idea, most of our teachers are all of our teachers are very patient. And if somebody comes in and says, because teaching adults is also different, if somebody comes in and says, aren't in practice all week, you say, okay, great, let's do what we did last week. And you don't say, that's too bad. You just have a good time. And so we're all about sharing what our knowledge is. And we've got teachers that their class will end at 8:30 and they're still here at 9:30, just because they're having fun as well. So we really are about making people feel welcome, making them want to be here and want to communicate with other people.
Teaching is you have to be kind of a combination of musician and psychologist, because what you really want to do when you're helping people is to get into their space. You want to get into their heads and find out what they want to learn and what's their best way of doing it. And that's what teachers, good teachers, do. So my feeling about teaching is that you've got to be in the same room with the teacher to get that kind of inspiration. I was reading a science magazine, and it said that we all have a gene that's an imitative gene, and that we learn by watching somebody do something and being in the same room, and you get a lot of subliminal information from the teacher. And you can't do this really on video, or you can't do it by textbooks or mail order. It has to be a one-on-one. And when you have that approach, a student and a teacher, that's the best way to learn. Other than that, if it's in a group, if you're in a group. If you grew up, for an example, in a folk culture, generally speaking, there will be people around you that play this music that have grown up with it traditionally. And you sort of sit at their feet and learn it. And that's a wonderful way to learn. So you learn by watching others, absorbing information from others, and subliminal information about music. And you always try to see somebody who plays really well, and you try to emulate that. Maura is wonderful. She keeps everything, she spins all the plates in the air. She's amazing. And she loves music, and she teaches fiddle too. And she's a teacher, has taught many years, and it comes through in her teaching. And we're just very lucky to have her.
So when I'm driving up to work, you have to understand that I have the best job because I do what I want to do. It's kind of nice. So I think about what it is I need to do that day. Am I teaching? What am I teaching? If I'm there to be an administrator, what is it I have to accomplish for the day? And that's basically, and then I usually, if I'm teaching, I'm going through the song in my head. And it goes da dun da 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 dun 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 da dun dun da dun da dun da da.
We teach folk instruments. We encourage people to sing and play instruments together, like the guitar and the banjo. We also teach songwriting, how to write a song. We teach the fiddle. We use a lot of folk music because it's accessible to people. People can learn it quickly and then use that as a foundation to learn other forms of music if they want to. Why do folk? First of all, it was accessible. Second of all, musicians are very solitary people, generally. They stay in their studio and they practice, sometimes 8 hours, 10 hours a day. But some people, like me, are people. They like to be around people and share their music and play with others. And that's folk music. Folk music does that. In other words, I can find somebody else to play a guitar or a fiddle, and I can back them up, or they can back me up, and we can have that dialogue of music. We can do that with jazz as well, which is sort of a form of folk music, because to be a jazz musician, you have to listen to others. And there's a kind of a democracy of music. Everybody puts in their share, and they make it, the music is more important than the individual.
You can't be a good musician if you're not going to listen to other people. So if I don't, and it kind of works in the same way with anything. If you have an opinion about something, I should be able to listen to it. And the more that I play with you as a musician, I understand you as a person. I'm going to listen to you more to what outside of music. I'm going to listen to you more as what you have to say, because I trust you as a musician. Does that make sense? So when you're looking at music as a venue to get people to talk to each other and to do things, you know, you can play bluegrass or you can play old time or whatever, but you have to be able to do it together. So if you're gonna, unless you're gonna sit in your bedroom and just play by yourself, and that's cool too, but you get much better if you play with other people and see what they have to offer, learn from them.
I figure that if people can learn to play music together, they can learn to talk to one another. Because when you think about dialogue today, you see a lot of enmity in the world. You see people arguing, and music, hard to argue with music. It calms you down, makes you harmonious, and the feeling of harmony extends from music to personal relationships, or even group relationships, or political relationships.
Spin me round, darling, won't you spin me round? Footloose and fancy free.
It's like cats in a way, in terms of everybody has their own sort of things that they're working on. But the people that are having the most fun realize that it's fun doing it with other people. The sort of playing well with others is really sort of a core idea here. You know, you can rise to a certain level just practicing in your room and doing occasional performances for, you know, different things. But actually playing together, it's always pushing you a little bit, but in a good way. And so that community is a community of, you know, optimists and people that are willing to step out of their comfort zone and be better. And it's real infectious. I love it.
In ways that I have changed since first coming to Frank Hamilton School is just going beyond music and being part of the larger community, and just having that sense of community with my other students. You know, we go beyond just Frank Hamilton. We're attending a music camp next week in North Carolina. We perform at various farmers markets in the Atlanta area. But we've just had a really good time beyond school.
Oh, it's sometimes miraculous change. People that you don't know what they're going to do with the music. I had a student once that didn't seem like going anywhere. Next thing I know, they're professional musicians. They're out there playing and singing in public. That happens all the time. So you see tremendous changes in people, in their, not only in their music, but in their attitudes. If they're shy and a little reticent, they come out and they start to blossom. And it carries over into their human behavior.
The most rewarding part of my job, wow, there's so many. I think it really is watching people come in happy or come in sad and leave happy. And they tell me that being here has changed what's going on in the world around them outside of here. So here we become a respite. We become a place that they can like leave their troubles at the door, sit down your troubles, and come in and at least for an hour, they don't have to worry about things. They can just have a good time, play music, if they can, even if it's emotional music and lets that emotion out in that way, then when they leave, they're better able to handle what's going on around them. So when somebody comes and says, you know, I really didn't want to get out of bed today, but I knew if I did, I'd be able to come here and play with my friends. And that I think hits me the most.
Oh, there's so many rewards. Just a room full of people making joyous music together is a reward in itself. But also seeing people grow and develop, seeing young kids listen to the music, and it has an indelible effect on their lives. They grow up. I keep hearing from students say, hey, when I was a kid, you taught me something. And I keep hearing from them, and it's such a wonderful, warm feeling to know that what they carried with them was important, and then they worked with it. And as a teacher, I mean, that's just like gold. American folk song defines identity. It's the real America. There's the mythological America, which the politicians try to sell you. But the real music, that's America. So I would say, if you want to know what America's like, listen to its music, listen to its culture, listen to its art. And forget about those who are interested in making money.
So preserving the music, one for bluegrass and old time, one is the school of thought is we should play it the way it was always played. And another is let's take that and make it relative to now. So there's both. I like both because we've got some really interesting modern day old time and bluegrass composers and artists that take that old stuff and reshape it, or they just write new stuff and it sounds like this. So I think it's important for anything else historical to preserve what was going on and understand when I talk about the history of a tune, to understand where that tune came from. There's a lot of tunes now that they're not played so much because of the history attached to it, and it's some music is emotional triggers. So we stay away from those, or we try to understand why those emotional triggers happen. And in teaching and using the old time music and the bluegrass music or Irish or whatever, Irish is really, if you ever listen to Irish, a lot of their ballads are about their history, about their heroes from their revolution. So you can learn a lot of history that we try to instill in our children through the music that's being taught and understanding where it's coming from.
People have a need for this kind of music. They have a need to express themselves. From my standpoint, music is not an exclusive club. Anybody, it's a natural birthright. People come into the music because they love it, and if they didn't love it, they wouldn't be playing it. So my feeling is that music is for the purpose of healing and bringing people together.